Page 13, the Ballet Dancer. Now they're introducing you to key signatures. One of the things I've noticed about the John Thompson books, and this is any John Thompson books, is they tend to advance rather quickly. They're constantly adding more. You don't get a lot of time to just play the stuff you've learned. Just play music using what you know. They're always introducing something new. So it advances rather quickly. So it's important you keep up. If you're confused and you're forgetting things, then go back and start this book again and go through the lessons again and make sure you understand everything and you can play everything. Key signatures, let's look at that. At the beginning of the lines, you already know, I didn't cover it, but I'm assuming you know what the clefs are because they would introduce that in book 1. The clef sign, the treble clef sign and the bass clef sign. For instance, the treble clef sign looks like that. It's at the beginning, that's in the upper staff. And the bass clef sign, it looks like that. It's in the lower staff. You know what those are and what they're about? I hope, because they're important. You see music, it doesn't have to be a treble and bass clef like this. They could both be treble clefs, they could both be bass clefs, and they can change in the middle of the music elsewhere. It's whatever goes. So just understand that that clef sign at the beginning, that's what you use until they give you something else. And you know the time signature, the numbers, understand those. Well, the key signature is in between. So you have the clef, key, time, in that order. And I remember it because it's alphabetic. Clef is C, that comes first. And then key signature, that's a K. And then time signature is a T, so it's in alphabetical order. The C, the K, and the T, and that's the order they appear, and they'll always be in that order. You've had key signatures all along and didn't know it because a key signature can be empty. And that's what it's been so far. It's been empty. But it's still, there's a key signature there. You just can't see it because it was empty. Now they put something in it. They put a flat sign in it. All right, let's talk about key signatures. Let's talk about this key signature. It's the key of F major. In other words, F major has one flat in the key signature. This will make a lot more sense later on when we get into scales and things. So whether you remember this or not, we'll cover it again. Just know that the flat at the beginning, and if you look at the line that it's on, you'll notice that if a note were on that line, it would be a B. I don't know if you've had that note yet or not, but it would be a B. So that flat has to be on that line where it's at. In each clef, that's the place it goes. It can't be someplace else. It's got to be right there. It means that all the B's in the piece, wherever they are, doesn't matter, are going to be B flats instead of B naturals. It makes all the B's flat throughout the piece. So the position now, we have to consider the black key. So look at the right hand. You're starting here, here. Well, there's no B in this position. We'll have to worry about it. But the left hand, they didn't give you a finger number. Isn't that nice of them? But I'm telling you, you're going to be in middle C position. Here. So the B here, the position isn't here, it's here. Because of the B flat in the key signature. So the position is here. It's still a middle C position because middle C is the middle note. You just have a B flat in here. And that's because all the B's are going to be flat automatically. Now you're playing both hands at the same time, so let's talk about this one hand at a time first. Right hand, you're here in just quarter notes. Make sure you can play all these quarter notes. You know the names of these notes by now, I hope. In the last line, look out. They threw you a curve. They do that. They put a flat in front of the E. So instead of an E, you're going to play an E flat. Now, just for that one note, though, because it's only good for that measure. So later on, you see toward the end of the line, you get another E. That's an E natural. The left hand, well, dotted half notes, remember I told you ages ago, a dotted half note is the same as 3 quarter notes. Just memorize that, because it doesn't matter what the time signature is, it's always the same as 3 quarter notes. Well, if a quarter note gets count, then this gets 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. That's what the left hand's doing. In the last line, you have second measure, 1, 2, 3, then a rest, and then so forth. So you get the hands one at a time working, and then try and putting them together. You're here. Make sure these are together. Then here, and here, and here. It's not too bad because the left hand's just going back and forth, but still you got to get the hands to work together and the fingers in each hand working. Ugh. If you look in the second line, the third measure over, you have a dotted half note in each hand, and that's tied. Remember the tie? Each of those is tied to a half note. You're going to hold those down for 5 counts because they're tied. So it's 1, 2, 3, tied 2 is how I count it. Tied 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I just say tied 2 because you're holding them down for that. Same thing at the end. Now that you got 2 dotted half notes tied together. Well, that's 6 counts. So you're going to hold them down for 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3 is how those work. So make sure you hold those down the full count. So you go through and learn it, and then get rid of the hesitations. And when you're ready, come back and play it with me. Let's play it together slowly. I'll give us 3 counts because it's in 3/4 time. 1, ready, go. 2, 3, tie, 2. 1, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3, off. Now there's a duet at the bottom. I'd like to play that, and you play what you just played. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, so make sure you can do with this with no hesitations. I'm going to give us 3 counts. Let's play it together slowly. 1, ready, go. 2, 3.